Hello everyone. So thanks for watching my video and thanks for your comments and suggestions. In yesterday's video, I talk about how do we write a simple C program and how do we fuzz it using AFL. In today's program, I will cover some different types of bug classes, vulnerability classes. We'll see what are they. Also, I do not plan to cover them in much details. I plan to do a separate video on that. So today I'm just going to show you how do I modified the simple program to cover most of the vulnerability classes. I will give you a very brief overview of each of the bug or vulnerability class, and then we are going to compile this program, and then we are again going to fuzz it using AFL, and then we'll see what kind of crashes we are getting and how does they look into the source code over here. So as you can see on my right screen, uh, I have this program opened. uh, this is basically an imaginary file format which we have created. So it follows the structure. There is a image. So it starts with a header which is img. Also I have not added any checks as of now in the program. Maybe in the future I will add this. And then there is a width and there is height. Both of these are integer. Then there is some data which is of 10 bytes. Header is of 4 bytes. And as you can see over here, there is a main function which accepts two standard C argument, argc, rv, and then it calls process image, which basically takes a file name as an argument. And what this process image function does is it opens the file, it performs some sanity checks, and then inside a while loop, it tries to read the data from the file. So it keeps reading the data until the return after it returns some positive value. And so inside this while loop, you can see uh, that there is one variable named size1 which is of type integer. So if you compare this code with yesterday's code, I have simply changed multiplication to the plus over here to explain what is an integer overflow. Then I have also added some code here to demonstrate what is an integer underflow. And then some code is here for heap buffer overflow, divide by 0 we have seen yesterday. Then I have added two more bug classes or vulnerability classes which are out of bound read and out of bound write. Then I have one more types of bug which is memory leak. Although this is not a very severe bug, but I still want to cover that because this is a common issue every programmer faces. So let's start with integer overflow. And as you can see, there is a variable which is of type integer, and what it is doing is it is basically adding two values which are read from the file, that is image.width and image.height. And now what is an integer overflow? So as you might be knowing that by default this will be a signed integer unless you write as a declare it as an unsigned. So there is a limit on the value which it can store, and by default the value will be 0 to 0 cross 0x7ff. And so this is the maximum value which an integer variable can store inside that. And if you add 1 to this highest value, so the maximum possible value is 7f. And if you add 1 to that, what will happen is that it will become 80000000, and that will be considered as a -1. That will be a negative number. So suppose here if width contains this value as 7f, and height contains 1, and since size is a addition, what it contains is the addition of that. So if width contains the 7f and height contains 1, it will become 80000000, which will be considered as a negative value, which will be -1. And so size will actually contain -1, and it tries to allocate the memory over here, so it will fail. And since we are using a mem copy over here which is trying to copy some data inside the buffer, so if the buffer is of very small size or if it is not getting allocated, uh, the program will try to write data past boundary of the buffer, so that will cause an issue over here. Now the point to note over here is that if I add 1 to 7f it will become 0. If I add 2 to that, it will become 1, and so on. So in case of integer overflow, what happens is that you go to the maximum possible limit and you add 1 or you add some value to that, which causes the overflow over here. And contrary to that, in case of integer underflow, you go to the minimum value. So the minimum value which can be saved by a integer variable is 0, and if you subtract something from that, again the value becomes negative. And in this case, what will happen over here is that the value will become very large. So it will become something like 7f or something like that, since as I mentioned over here that if you add 7f and if you add 1 to that, it converts to negative. So similarly, when you uh, subtract something from a negative value, lower end of the negative value, right, that is minus 0, it will become a very large positive value. And so in that case, if you do a malloc over here, chances are that your program will not allow to allocate that much amount of memory, so your program will crash over here. So the basic difference between an integer overflow and underflow is that in case of integer overflow, you go to the maximum allowed number, you add some value to that, so that caused the overflow and the value again start from the 1. And in case of integer underflow, you go to the lowest possible value, you subtract something from that, and then it becomes a very large integer value. So that is the main difference between integer overflow and underflow, and many people get confused with that. So uh, please keep this in mind. And then I have added some classic buffer overflow checks over here. So as I discussed that if buffer is very small, if it is less than 10 bytes, since image data is of 10 bytes, you copy that, so it will cause heap buffer overflow over here. And then I have one double free condition over here which I discussed yesterday. So it is checking if size is divided by 2. If it's an even number, it will free buffer 1 again. So as you can see over here, I have already freed buffer 1, and if size is even, it will again free the buffer. So since the memory is already freed, if you try to free it again, this will be an issue for the program. Similarly, I have added one more vulnerability class which is use after free. So in use after free, what happens when you free some memory and if you try to use that, so program will create some issue with that. If you compare it with asyn or and ubsen, that will cause a crash over here. So just to demo use after free vulnerability, you can see over here is that I have added a random check. So if size 1, if the size 1 becomes 1 is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6, then only it will goes over here and will tries to assign some value to buffer 1 at 0 offset. It will assign a over here, but as you can see over here, buffer 1 is already freed, so this should cause an error. So we will fuzz it using AFL and we'll see if these errors are getting detected or not. And let's move on to our another vulnerability class, that is divide by 0. I think that we have seen yesterday, but I will cover once more. So in divide by 0, it's pretty simple. You have width, you have height, you are dividing width by height. So if height contains 0, if you divide something by 0, the behavior is undefined, so program will crash over here. This will be detected by ubsen or undefined behavior sanitizer. Then there are two new bug classes I have added over here, that is out of bound read and write. So in out of bound read, what happen is that you have a limited size of buffer and you try to read past the buffer limit. So here you can see that buffer 3 is of size 10, so it is a 10 byte long, and here you are trying to read based on the value of size 3. So if size 3's value is somewhere around 0 to 9, this program should work perfectly fine. But if it's become too large, say 10, 100, 1000, and since the limit of buffer 3 is 10, you are trying to read some data past length of the buffer, which is, say, if you are giving size 3 is 100, then this will be an issue because that memory doesn't belong to buffer 3. So when you try to read some data pass limit of the buffer, that is out of bound read. And similarly, there is another kind of issue which is out of bound write. So in out of bound write, what happens is when you try to write some data which is outside of the limit of the buffer. So we take the same example, buffer 3 is it of size 10 there, and if you write some data from 0 to 9, it should work perfectly fine. So if size 3 value is from 0 to 9, this program should work perfectly fine. But suppose if size 3 contains 100 or 1000 or some value which is more than 10, then what will happen is that it will try to write some data, that is C, on the that particular buffer length or that particular offset, and that will be considered as an out of bound write issue because buffer 3 is of size only 10 bytes. So you cannot write data after 10 bytes. So if you try to write, that will be an issue for the program, and that will be causes a out of bound write issue. And there is another type of issue we'll cover, that is a memory leak over here. So memory leak, I think most of the developer are familiar with this kind of issue. In memory leak, what actually happen is that you assign some memory, you allocate some memory using calls such as malloc. So let's see, this is buffer 4, and buffer 4 is getting allocated over here using a malloc call, and we are not freeing it over anywhere. So yeah, so there is a one check. If size 3 is greater than 10, then we are not freeing the memory, but if it's less than 10, then we are freeing the buffer 4. So this is just some intentional check I have added over here, so that we can see if AFL is able to find this issue or not. So if the size 3 is more than 10, then it will not free up the buffer. Instead, what it will do is it will simply point this buffer 4 pointer to null. And so this buffer which was allocated over here, it will stay in the memory as allocated. It will not get freed. And since we are doing it for one time, but in many cases, in many vulnerable cases, what happens is that this thing happen inside a loop, or maybe this thing happen in multiple time with a very large value. So your program actually ends up allocating a lot of memory, and which doesn't get freed, and so it may cause various issues, like your system becomes very slow, and unnecessary memory gets used by your program. So this is a very common issue which most of the programmer faces, and so I wanted to cover it. And yeah, so let's go and compile our program and see what kind of issues we get. So the compile command I'm going to use over here is this AFL harden. We will compile this program with AFL harden flag so that it adds some more checks. The command is AFL GCC. We'll add f sanitize address. I have added one new flag, that is f omit frame pointer. This will what it does, it gives you one extra register which will be used later on by SN, and all this stuff I will probably cover it in another video when we talk in detail about ASN, AMSN, and UBSN. And I have added f sanitize undefined, which will enable undefined behavior sanitizer, or UBSAN. Then the program file name, source file name, output file name. So let's compile it. Okay, it is compiled, and now let's fuzz this. So before starting AFL fuzz, let's create some input file. So in yesterday's video I shown you that I have a very simple file where I have manually crafted width, height, and everything, but today I'm not going to use that file. We'll create a very simple file. So what we'll do is we'll simply echo img, or it can be any random byte. We will use it in input, and we'll say one.txt. So now AFL will be able to figure out everything over here. It will create new file, it will figure out the structure of the file, and it will figure out the crashes, as we'll see moving forward. So let's start our fuzzing process. I will just confirm once more what I have inside input. So you can see I have only one file, and we'll go and see what does it contain. As you can see, it only contains 3 byte string which is img, nothing else. And that is the beauty of AFL, that it will automatically figure out the structure and the values. So let's see, let's fuzz it. Let's start our AFL fuzzer, and we'll see what kind of crashes we are getting. So this is the AFL fuzz command, AFL fuzz -i input file, -o output folder, am is none. So as I mentioned that we have compiled this binary using asn and amsn, and asn required a huge amount of memory, so it is not possible to fuzz a 64-bit binary using AFL. FL will give some error message, so that's why we have to explicitly mention over here that am is none. So basically what it says to AFL is that there is no particular memory limit which is uh, uh, available for this program. You can use unlimited memory over here, then hyphen hyphen executable file name, and at the rate two times. So at the runtime, AFL will replace this at the rate symbols with the actual file name. So let's start fuzzing and we'll see what we are getting over here. Okay, let's wait for some time. Oh, we started getting crashes. They are increasing. So far we have around 6 crashes. So we actually have 6 unique crashes, 7 now, and our total crashes count is increasing. We'll wait for some time. So one thing to note over here is that total timeouts are also getting increased. So total timeout is uh, how it occurs is that by default AFL takes some different some standard values, some default values, and it waits that much amount of times, few milliseconds, maybe around 40 milliseconds or 20 milliseconds, and it waits for program to respond if it crashes or not. If it doesn't crash, then AFL mark it as a timeout. So far we have 9 unique crashes. That is good, and our average execution speed is it varies from 40 to 50 to 80. So it means that we are getting around 50 or 60 execution per second. We are processing around 50 or 60 inputs per second over here. You can see there is a now trying which shows interest. It can have different values like interest, then havoc, then splice, arithmetic. It can have bit flip, it can have byte flip. So all these are mutation strategies. Right now it is, as you can see, it is havoc. So in havoc it does all the random stuff over here. So I plan to cover a separate uh, uh, video, and I plan to have a separate video to cover all this mutation strategy where I will walk you through the AFL code. We'll see what this mutation strategy is, how they change the file. So basically, this is the strategy which based on that AFL make changes in the your input file. So I will cover it in a separate video because that will be too much for today's video. And so we have around 10 unique crashes. I think this is sufficient for now. So I'm going to cancel it by pressing Ctrl C, and let's go through some of the crashes. So remember that I have only given one single input file containing img tag, and rest AFL itself has figured out everything, right? So that's why it's very popular. And let's see what kind of crashes we have got. So image read, our output crash, id 0. We'll start with id 0. So you can see that address sanitizer some message, it says request allocation size. So you can see that it is a very large allocation, and the allocation failed because allocation size is too big. And this is at image read and line 36. So let's see what happens at line 36. We can see it over here. Okay, here it is, right? So it is a very large memory allocation over here. Basically these are very large value. This is not an integer overflow. So basically image width and image height are very large value, and so this is causing the issue. And let's go and see the second crash. This is again not an integer overflow. Let's see what happens over here. We'll see another crash. That is one, and it says it's an heap buffer overflow, so that is good. It is at line 67. So we will again see what is at line 67. We can go here and we can see, okay, So uh, it is trying to allocate some memory over here, and yeah, so actually it is the buffer overflow is at line 68, and the buffer was allocated over here. Yeah, I was reading it wrong, so you can see it is over here, line 68. Yes, so there is some buffer which is getting allocated, some data is getting copied over here, and it's a classic heap-based buffer overflow. I'm not going to debug it today. Probably I will take a separate session how to debug this issue. So let's go and see another crash. Since this video is becoming too long, so I don't want to spend much time. So we'll take one or two more crashes and we'll see what's going over here. So let's go and see our third crash. Okay, this is an integer overflow, sign integer overflow over here. It is happening at line 36. So let's go and see what is at line 36. I think we already seen that. Uh, it is over here. Yes, so it has become a very large value over here, which the size 1 cannot save, and so that is causing issue over here. So it can be actually a very small or a very large memory allocation, but generally in the what I have observed is that it is are the very small memory allocation, so it should be fine. I can probably modify it as a very large or very small memory allocation. Can write it so that I can reduce this code later on. And let's see our another crash, that is third one. It should be our fourth crash. So this is at line 67. I'm assuming that it has something to do with integer underflow or something else. Okay, yes, so there is size 3, and so you can see there is a width and height which is negative, so that's why it's becoming negative over here, and so allocation is getting failed over here. So it's again says allocation size too big. Let's see one more crash. So I'm not going to debug this issue right now, we'll debug it later on. I'm just going to see what kind of crashes we are getting. Okay, there is one more crash that is at line 36. So this is an integer overflow issue. 4, let's go and see 5. Okay, this is a heap based overflow. This is again at line 68. I think we have already seen that. So let's go and see another issue. Yeah, this is double free, and this is it line 43. So let's go and see what is at line 43, and here it is. So as I mentioned earlier, we already freed buffer 1, and if size 1 divided by 2, so if size 1 is even, it will again try to free that. This is an intentional bug we have did. So yeah, AFL was able to find that, and that is good thing. So let's go and see another crash. What does it contain? 7. This is a stack buffer overflow. This is at line 74. So let's see what it contains at line 74. So it is over here. Yeah, so this is Since the size is small, it is taken as a stack based buffer overflow, but if the size 3 will be very large, it will be giving it as a heap based buffer overflow. So uh, yes, but you can see that memory access at offset 109. So size 3 is actually, I'm assuming it is 109. Yes, it is, and so that's why it is causing this crash. Okay, we'll debug it later. Let's see another crash. uh, so we have seen 6, this is 7, this is okay, this is our 8, ninth crash. Okay, so here it what out of bound issue as I discussed over here, out of bound. So we'll see it if it is a read or if it is write. So yes, let's go and see. So we are at line 74, that is an out of bound write issue, and you can see that index 68 means that size 3 is 60. So that is why it is causing the issue. The maximum amount it can have is like 10, as I have previously discussed. So it's good that AF has found this issue. Again, we'll debug it later on. So let's go to our another issue, and this is again, so this is a combination of out of bound read issue. It is at line 71, 74, and then there is a large allocation at 36, that is integer overflow. So let's go and see it, what is at line 71. You can see at line 71 it is basically out of bound read. So size 3, it is trying to read at index 85, which is a very large value, and since the size 3 uh, since the buffer is of size 10, this is an out of bound read issue. So I think we don't have any more crashes. Let me just check once, because total we had like 10. So yeah, so that's all the crashes we had, and in next video I will probably take few of these crashes and I will explain you how to debug this crash. And yeah, and